Welcome, dear listeners, friends, viewers, to this amazing episode. You are to go to place for uplifting, amazing, challenging, provoking discussions and thoughts. We are so happy to have you. We are your hosts. My name is Precious Call.
Kinyanjui Maria is mine.
Yeah, and unajifanya hapa kuna decorum saizi na
sophisticated, very cool, calm, collected.
For the camera.
For the camera, yeah. I'm a baby girl.
Baby girl, very gangster. Those of you that know you, those of us
they
that
know
know
mimi
you,
ni ule Taliban.
we know.
Apo sasa.
Maria, I have a question for you.
Please do ask.
Now that you're not married, and I believe you're hoping to get married
Yes.
one day.
Yes.
Okay. Now ujibu kijua there's a potential suitor who could be watching.
Niko soko
Do you
katikati.
think you can stay married?
Do I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, having been alone
Yeah.
for 30 years,
Yes.
I don't think in my next 60 years I'd want not to be alone.
Okay.
I've been alone all my life.
Okay.
I'd want to have a companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good thing. Well, I have a companion. It's now 3 years.
So for you,
It's going on well.
it's going on well.
I'm grateful.
Why do you stay there?
Because I made a choice.
Uh-huh.
You make a choice, you live with it.
Yeah.
Here's the point. And by the way, for those that are still catching up, we are just thinking about, is it so difficult to keep a marriage in this day and time?
Yeah.
And why are we a generation that actually celebrates when people fall out of marriages and so on and so forth?
Yeah.
The point I was trying to make, nilikuwa nasema, I think one of the most striking things that happened to me in that season of getting married
Yeah.
is a day we went to see our pastor, and then he told us, friends, this decision
Yeah.
is irreversible.
Uh-huh.
So go and think about it.
He didn't even give you an answer.
He said, this is irreversible. Enda ukae ujiite mkutano ujichunguze.
Alafu rudi.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Look at this part. Go and ask for her grandmother's photos and look at them.
Yeah.
See, 50 years from now, this is
Yeah.
how she'll look like.
Yeah. And then you come back. Okay.
So, but it was helpful
Okay.
because, well, in the church I go to, which is CITAM, when you're getting married, they usually tell you marriage is not to go into unadvisedly. You don't just wake up one morning and then
And
it's you I want to
decide.
marry.
Yeah.
Let's go on. And that kind of helps to prepare you in terms of looking at it as a lifetime commitment.
Okay.
Which means for those of us that are in faith, I commit to you and that's it until death.
Do us what? But why do you find it that at some point, you went and thought about it and you came back to the pastor and said, we're not getting married? Why does it feel at some point like we've seen couples here and they're just disagreeing and kidogo kidogo umesikia waliachana?
Yeah.
Why do we have it a lot?
Bana, unajua ndoa ni shule na pia ni kazi.
Okay.
There's I met a couple told me ndoa ni kazi. Kama hutaki kufanya kazi, kana mama yako. So in essence is you're getting in there, and it's not always going to be happily ever after. There will be days when there is no happily ever after.
Yeah.
But then it's a commitment. So sometimes I feel like, and the tricky thing about having this conversation now is I'm such a junior. I'm only just starting. So kuna wazee wananisikiza sasa wanasema give him time.
Yeah.
Like, give that boy time.
Yeah.
And I know for sure it's difficult, and we are not here to call or to laugh at or bash or say or make fun of those that have struggled in their marriages.
Yeah.
But we are looking at what we can learn from it.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I was told that, I came into the marriage not expecting so much perfection.
Okay.
From Karen.
Yeah.
For that matter. So I have left room for mistakes, and a lot of them for that matter.
Yeah.
I want to see her as a human being who is growing and becoming better every day. Yeni material.
Yeah.
Mi ndo natengeneza hii material. Mi ndo nashona hii material. And for me that allows me to be easy on things I think she should be that she's not.
Yeah.
And same for me, extending grace on places she has an expectation on who or what I should be that I'm not, because there are many. So mi kwenye natoka in our community, ugali is a big deal.
Okay.
All right. So big that sometimes when you want to get married,
Yeah.
they will ask you to bring that girl home. she makes ugali.
To prove that she can be your wife.
Yes, it
Okay.
is that much of a big deal. So, and in our community, ugali ile imeiva ni the one I can eat and not have to wash my hands. It doesn't stick to your hand.
Wow.
Ushaanguka mtihani.
Wow. Hapo najiangalia niko zile za nail.
So, and for example, now Hashi comes from the mountain.
Yeah.
Ugali ya mountain si ugali, ni ujime.
Imeshikana.
People will make bad ugali. Mnatuharibianga. So now here I am. I come from a community where ugali is a big deal, and then I'm married to a girl who it doesn't actually matter. They don't even understand how you can eat ugali 3 times a week. So si tutaikula every day na itakuwa pia asubuhi hapo ya chai. You see. So here we are, and I'm getting very frustrated. You see, and so how I look at it is, first of all, we've grown up in extreme cultures.
Okay.
And what they like, I don't like.
Yeah.
What we like, they don't like.
Yeah.
So then the essence is to help one another to become that which I hope she will be. So it would be very unfair of me to break up from her because she can't make nice ugali.
Yeah.
And I've never actually taken time to show or to demonstrate. This is how ugali
Exactly. You want it.
inatengenezwa.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at it that way, you start seeing their, let me call them insufficiencies, as places you can come in and work together to make that better.
I believe that you are saying,
Yes.
because I also feel, or rather, over time I've realized that love is a decision.
Yes.
So by the time you're saying, I love this person, you've decided that over and beyond their flaws, over and beyond how short they look and how dark, and you know, in your culture or in your spaces or in your family, you're all brown, and then you bring a black guy and people are asking, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I think most importantly, love is a decision that you get to make. That, you know, there's this lady that was making her vows in a wedding, and the pastor said, in riches and in poverty, and she said, in riches and in riches.
Yeah, there's no poverty.
There is no poverty. So it's a decision that every day you get to affirm to yourself and to the person who you are with that, you know what, I'm going to live with you. The other day I was telling someone, the fact that I live with my brother still date and we get to fight. Even now that you're not even staying in the same homestead.
Lakini bado tu mnachokozana.
Tunachokozana, but I don't get to say, sasa wewe si wetu, ama tumeachana,
done, yes.
ama, you know. So I think every single day, just reaffirm and reassure yourself and the person you are with that regardless of everything that you are and all the flaws and all that, I'm choosing to stay with you.
So Maria, I want to ask you a question around this issue.
Okay.
Kuna hii kitu tunaitanga due diligence.
Hey.
That before you marry someone, you do due diligence.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's something we practice. Sometimes I kind of feel like we have made marriage such a big deal for most of us. Na tunakuanga tumejiwekea timeline that when I get to this particular age, I need to settle. And so, and because, you know, life just has a way of undoing your list of wants.
Yeah.
And you see yourself getting to that age, and by then nobody's even checking you out. Nobody is spam liking your Instagram photos.
Yeah.
And I get to see, especially for the
women.
For the women from observation.
Yeah.
I get to see women when they get to their late 20s, they become very frustrated. Very frustrated. Pale church, they get very frustrated. So, and they would even go out there to look for people that would suit them.
Yeah.
And then we really compromise that list. All right? So as to make it as low as possible, at least for someone to cross over.
Yes.
So that we ease this pressure of wanting to get married.
Yeah.
Do you think that?
You've just reminded me of a certain video you saw on the socials. A lady, when she's 21, she's praying with so much decorum. She's like, you know, sophisticated.
Send me
and then
Abraham.
she gets to 25 and you know, the pressure gets a bit better. So she's get it to 35. Oh, riba shan. You're
Whichever
there,
man.
moving even the, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel you don't need to get to a certain level for you to narrow down, especially the values and the virtues that you want in a person. Because if you get to compromise, you'll get to year 1, it's all cozy, it's all, you know, honeymoon period. Year 2, by the time you're getting to year 3, because we've uncovered a lot, so you don't get to see the good in this person. And I kid you not, if you don't want to see the bad of a person, you will see them. You understand?
I get
and
it.
so I think the way you said, we don't need to get to a certain level to compromise.
Yeah.
As long as you have those values and virtues, you'll get that particular person. Going to due diligence, most importantly, especially us in faith, just get someone you think alike. Someone you are in the same faith with. And I believe when you're getting Karen, maybe you're in the same church, the same Bible study group, the same youth group, you got to understand or look at her and evaluate her, even not from the circle that she's your friend, even from the way she relates to other people, because it matters.
Yeah, it does.
When you come to me, we have 3 families.
Yes.
We have your family, my family, and now we get to build our family.
That makes a
so
lot of sense.
that really matters.
Yeah,
How you even express yourself, that's why you're told marry your friend. Because this person is almost in the
Marry
same
your friend.
in the same circle with you.
Yes.
Labda mnakwaga the same estate, the same Bible study,
Yeah.
ama the same mnaendaga gigs pamoja, kitu kama hiyo. So you get to know them other than ukimuuliza maswali, na wewe unapenda, na wewe unafanyaga, na wewe, all that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that you're saying that, because when I asked Karen out, we had not been friends for a long time. I think
Okay.
I used to see her from a distance, and
Yeah.
then we were in the music team together for a while. So nilikuwa nimemjua for less than a month. And I felt like this one needs to graduate. So I went and asked her out, and it was such a shocker for her. She didn't see it coming at all.
Okay.
So a week later, she called me for a meeting.
I
She
like
called me for a meeting, and I want us to talk.
Okay.
That phrase scares me to date. We need to talk.
Run.
It was at that point. so
Yeah.
so we went and we sat in this meeting. It took, I think, almost 2 hours. And the first question she asked me is, so who exactly are you? Where are you coming from?
Yeah.
What's your family like? Have you been in relationships in the past years? How many? 3. What happened in all those relationships? Why did you break up? How far did you go with this particular girl, and so on and so forth? And I felt very exposed.
Yeah.
But I needed to say certain
Yeah.
things. I needed to say the life I had lived. That was one of the most difficult conversations I've ever had in life.
Yeah.
Because I'm not so sure if the answers I give will work to my favor or against me.
Yeah.
But I think I needed to say that, because it will help her in making the decision,
It's true.
so that she doesn't get into this, committing into this. Na mi nilikuwa na relationship huko hivyo nikapata tutoi that I've never talked about.
Yeah.
So one day she just sees small boys appearing with my nose.
Looking like you.
Buddha, why does this boy look like you?
And I know all your brothers.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then, and we've already crossed over.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes our lack of due diligence can lead us to that place.
Yeah.
And it's maybe because of all those things we are mentioning. Frustration, and I just want to settle down. Just want to settle down. And I think that's something we need to guard against.
Yeah. I most importantly feel that we need to ask the hard questions where people don't get there. People don't like get diving into the deep end. Are you sexually active?
Yes. It's important.
Are you, if you don't get to ask those questions, then
Yes.
you'll get frustrated, as you said,
yeah.
at the long run, because you didn't uncover those covered things. You only went to he's a nice guy, he comes to church, praise, demon chaser, spirit filled, going to heaven.
Blunder.
And then there you go. You'll go to heaven so quick, we were having a discussion in the office, I think in the recent past, a week ago, and one of the ladies was just telling us how this particular couple had waited for quite some time until they got married. They're in the same church group, and once they got married, this particular person changed.
Oh,
360.
okay.
So the lady was asking us, do you even get to a point where you get to know this person fully in a way that when they change, you're like, I saw this and I assumed, or you didn't see this? Because there are people who all of a sudden, because of life and, problems and situations and circumstances, they get to change. How do you actually, the way you're saying the due diligence, how do you get to know that when I get into this, is it faith it till you make it, or you get into it and then you ask yourself, pressures wasn't like this when you were dating, or not even dating, when you were growing up, or we were staying together, but now he's like this, and I wonder what has happened to my spouse. How do you get to solve that?
Interesting. You've actually reminded me, apart from that small meeting we had where I had to talk about who I was, she insisted on knowing some of my friends.
Okay.
So she met my closest friends. We were just three guys, tunajitanga musketeers. We are still there today.
Alright.
So she went and met these musketeers and talked to them about me. She insisted on hanging out with us, especially when we went to play FIFA. Ndiye aone reaction zangu nikinyoroshwa vile nakuwa angry.
The anger management.
The anger management. Now I am not the church boy. You know? And I think that was very helpful. And one of the most profound things that she also did in that, by the way, I'm not saying this to hype myself up as the one with the most perfect marriage. Far from it.
Yeah.
All right. It's just experiences. And I remember she asked me to meet her best friend for a conversation about my intentions and me and everything and stuff.
Okay.
And this was a friend of 9 years. They're still friends to date. High school roommates, did campus life together. Because also you understand love can make you stupid.
Okay.
You know, when you're in love, you can actually watch someone do a mistake, but it's okay. Me, love can make you dumb completely. So sometimes it helps to have people around you that are like a third eye.
Okay.
That will see for you stuff that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Because if you are frustrated and you want to get married so bad, namse ametokezea, you will sanitize.
Yeah.
Utam sanitize hapo haraka.
Yeah.
But when you have a clique around you, your best friends, your girl circle, hey, they can look at you and tell you, by the way, you need to slow down on this one. Look at that. So I think it helps to have people around you that can give you a report or a side that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
It's important. You need to find some of his friends.
Go beyond the church walls.
Yes, hang out with
Go
them.
beyond the walls of your partner. Just get to know
Yes.
who does she love?
Yeah.
Why? Why do they even hang out? You know, they say a sum of your two friends is who you are, or three. Yeah, I think it's very important.
So a friend of mine told me one day we were talking about just asking ourselves, by the way, Will, 30 years from now, are we still going to be married?
Yeah. And the answer was?
So a friend of mine told me, by the way, in this world, it is only God who is exactly who he says he is.
Yeah.
The rest of us, life can happen.
Yeah.
So he said, and because of that reality, it's only God who can help you stay in that marriage. So I know for sure, Karen staying with me she has a decision to make in that,
Yeah,
but I can
true.
only trust God.
True.
That God will help me and God will help her, which is why I feel sad for people who don't do marriage with God. It's tough. It's tough because I hear things out there. People say irreconcilable differences. When Jesus was speaking about love in Ephesians chapter 5, particularly when he was addressing husbands, he said, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Yeah.
That's a very high standard of love. Because he says Christ loved the church so much that he gave himself so that the church can be purified to his standard. So it's not Jesus telling the church, you guys are my bride.
Yeah.
I need you to be holy. Go and be holy.
Yeah.
He says, I need you to be holy and I'm going to die so that you can become what I want. He literally gives his life for his bride. If that's the standard of love in marriage,
Yeah.
it is a very high standard.
Yeah.
Because what that means is then I make Karen what I want her to be. So I cannot sit there and say, I don't like these things about
Yeah.
you. Go out there and work your way
Yeah,
out. If I'm
yeah.
going by the standards of God's word and how he expects me to love her, it should be me literally pulling her up, literally holding her hand and going. So if that's the standard of love, and in Corinthians 13, tunaambiwa love is patient, love is kind, and love is forgiving. It's a cliche, tunaisomanga tu, but think about it. It's a high standard. Me, if I hurt you today, you'll remember for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The next day you tell me, kuna mse nishai offend, kuna dem nimeshai mu offend vibaya tu. Then I came back and said sorry. Akaniambia shikilia your glass. Throw it down. Ikaunjika. Tell it sorry.
Yeah.
He said,
It won't come back.
did your sorry bring it back? I said, go away with your sorry. It doesn't. Now you see, when you're not doing it the God's
That's a
way,
nice one.
you will keep on saying, me, I can't forgive this.
Yeah.
But when you know Jesus has forgiven you even worse,
Yes.
and he never gets tired of forgiving you, you'll extend grace to this person. And these things we call irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
If we are walking with God, he gives us grace pole pole too as we keep on going.
Okay.
I'm getting too passionate.
Eish. But Pastor Precious, as we get to wind this up, what is that one thing that you can take
Yeah.
in marriage. Hiyo tu- si, okay.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay. That one yenye useme kabisa mimi kaput. What is that one thing?
Unataka list?
Nataka tu moja.
Kuchezwa.
You can't forgive cheating?
No. Maria, you're asking me difficult questions.
Okay.
But
This is where you get real conversations, real talks.
Nishaulizwa swali na wife. What can't you forgive?
Yes.
I didn't have an answer.
We'll cross the bridge once together.
I can forgive and then I'll fuel my car and just go and run over somebody.
Oh my goodness. All right.
No, on a serious note though, it's difficult. It's easier said than done.
Okay.
It's easy for me to say I can forgive cheating, but when it happens, I know it will be difficult.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you have your 100% trust on someone, maybe that's why the Bible says, "Cast is the man who trusts, who puts his faith in other men." But in view of the fact that I want this to last,
Okay.
and as God gives us children, I really desire they grow up in a healthy family where both the father and mother is present. The goal is to forgive. Let me explain it this way. For instance,
Okay.
if Karen cheats on me, or if I cheat on acha nijitumie, if I cheat on Karen,
Yes.
all right, she's
Yes.
not here,
Yeah.
and then she hears it,
Yeah.
and then we have a conversation about it, and she asks me, there are two different things here. There's falling in sin
Yeah.
and staying in sin. So falling in sin is a mistake can happen, you find yourself in, and you totally regret it completely. You even go and report yourself. You fell in sin, but the convictions lead you to repentance, reconciliation, and you work it out.
Yeah.
But there are people who fall in sin, and then it becomes very nice, and they want to stay in it. So you might want to find out. So is this a mistake you're regretting, or something that actually has become a curious thought you want to engage and entertain it? If someone is in that level, it's trouble in paradise. Trouble in paradise. But otherwise, all sins should be forgiven.
And marriage is good.
It is.
You know, you're reminding me when Paul is writing and saying, if you're unmarried, stay unmarried. Kwa sababu huku ingine ni ngori.
Because of the commitments. And he was saying that in light of the fact that he's a minister, he moves around city to city, and his being unmarried is a blessing to him in that regard. And so he says marriage can be a distraction, and it's very true, because now I not only, every decision I make, I do it in light with the fact that I have a wife.
Yeah.
So she knows I'm here. I need to account for every second of my life.
Yeah.
It can be draining for some people. So ka utaki commitment, if you don't want to be open, if you don't want to be transparent, kaa na mama yako.
Amazing.
Me, I'm done.
There we go. There you have Pastor Precious telling you about marriage. And I'm happy that you're married. So that when I'm getting into it, I take notes from you.
Which notes?
Of marriage. Utaki nikuje kwako?
No, come tutaongea. Nitakupatia ka committee.
All right.
There we have it, guys. It's difficult, of course, yes, because living with someone you didn't grow up with, you went through very different experiences.
Yeah.
It can be challenging, but here is the joy about marriage. Marriages were started by God, so they will always be defended by God. You will receive help from God, so you don't have to fear. And we pray that God will give you grace wale wase wako na hizo vitu tunaita irreconcilable differences.
Apo sasa. There you have it.
There you have it.
Like, subscribe, share, follow. This is CITAM Church Online. But hapa, we have real conversations with real people.
Yes.
All right. There you have it. Until next time.
Ciao.
Adios.